The new constitution has guaranteed total freedom on all aspects. It doesn't encourage discrimination in any form. I am very happy and very proud to tell this August gathering that after the promulgation of the new constitution, Nepal has become the second country in South Asia after India to have a new constitution drafted by the elected representatives of its people. At this juncture, it is but natural for us to look towards international community, and especially towards India, our next door neighbor, the largest democracy in the world, to look forward for inspiration and some patterns at the back on this achievement. It took some time, but I am very grateful to His Excellency Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The day before yesterday at
Honorable Foreign Minister Sushma-ji, she welcomed the promulgation of the new constitution. We are very grateful. I would like to thank the government of India, the leaders of Indian Republic, the civil society, and the media. Please do understand, for a country like Nepal with such a diverse socio-economic there were 31 political parties with divergent ideology, from monarchy to republic, People's Republic, secularists to hardcore Hindu Rashtas, the federalist and the non-federalist. To draft a constitution with such a divergent ideological differences, and even the 601 members, they represented the diverse socio-economic, cultural, ethnic component of Nepalese society. It took some time for us, but at the end of the day, we have a constitution, a democratic constitution, and after the promulgation of the new constitution, Nepal has now entered into a new era, the new phase which we have collectively defined as a phase of economic development and prosperity. Against this backdrop, Prime Minister K.P. Wali has visited India. Here in India, we are very happy to see that you are making a rapid progress, a tremendous economic growth. As a neighbor, we are very happy and very proud. So, at one hand, Nepal has now entered into a new era of economic development. On the other hand, there is India, which is already marching towards economic prosperity. So, against this backdrop, as a Foreign Minister of Nepal, I would like to request to this august gathering, let's strive towards remodeling our relations into a strategic partnership that seeks to promote peace, security, modernization, and prosperity. In the wake of new age of globalization and the imminent rise of Asia as a major power in multipolar world, we should try to model our relationship based on more trustworthy, harmonious, and friendly relationships. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, deeper friendship and shared prosperity should remain as the guiding theme of relations between our two countries. It is with this message and with the goodwill of 30 million Nepalese people, Prime Minister Oli has embarked on a visit to India. We had a very fruitful meetings with Indian leadership, and we are going back with a profound love and friendship back home. With these words, I again would like to thank Indian Council of World Affairs for providing me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your important remarks and for highlighting the strategic importance of our bilateral relations. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure now to invite the Right Honorable Mr. K.P. Sharma Oily, Prime Minister of Nepal, to deliver the Sapro House lecture.
Namaste, everybody. Chairperson of this program, Foreign Minister of India, Srimati Sushma Swaraj ji, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister of Nepal, Mr. Kamal Thappa ji, Excellencies, distinguished members of Indian Council of World Affairs, members of diplomatic community, scholars, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by thanking the Indian Council of World Affairs for inviting me to deliver the 21st Sapro House lecture. I am pleased to have my name associated with various luminaries who have delivered the Sapro House lecture and those who will follow the suit. The opportunity accorded to me also manifests the importance the Indian scholars and foreign policy community accord to Nepal. I express my sincere thanks to Honorable Srimati Sushma Swaraj, Minister of External Affairs, for being with us and presiding over the meeting despite her busy schedule. I have come to New Delhi carrying with me good wishes of the people of Nepal to the friendly people of India. I have been deeply touched by the warm welcome extended by our Indian friends. This is my first travel abroad as the Prime Minister. This is also the first visit by the Prime Minister of Nepal since the promulgation of the new constitution in the country in September last year. I would like to begin by sharing my thoughts first on Nepal's political development, and then I'll move to the second aspect of my speech, that is Nepal-India relations. In this opportunity, I would like to recall and remember the very historic and very important visit of His Excellency Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi, who visited Nepal in August of 2014. After a long time, about 17 years Indian Prime Ministers were not visiting Nepal, and he visited Nepal for the first time, and his visit, as Excellency Sushmaji said, that his address in the Nepalese Parliament was so unique, and it contributed a lot. If there were any type of doubts within anybody, all those doubts were eliminated, and the friendly relations, historical relations between our two countries and two people were heightened. Similarly, I would like to mention here, immediately after the earthquake which took place last year in April, the Indian government and entire Indian society, political parties and bureaucracy and intellectuals and so many other, in fact, rendered their support in such a way, expressed anxiety and extended support. That was the clear manifestation of the very close relationship between our two countries and our two people. I would like to appreciate and thank to the Indian government and India and Indian entire society for that generous support. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, in the last 10 years, Nepal was undergone political transformation of historic proportions. We moved from a unitary monarchical system of governance to a federal democratic polity. The decade-long insurgency that began in 1996 was subsequently replaced by a peace process in 2006. Support and solidarity received from the people and government of India in Nepal's peace process needs a special mention here. The painful transition of 8 long years was finally brought to an end on 20th September last year when an elected Constituent Assembly promulgated the new Constitution with near consensus. The promulgation of the new Constitution also culminated the 65 years old enterprise of the Nepalese people to write their own Constitution. This is a historic achievement beyond doubt. The new Constitution embodies hopes and aspirations of all segments of the Nepalese society, which is diverse in terms of culture, religion, and ethnicity. Nevertheless, peaceful coexistence has been the defining feature of our way of life. Accommodating diverse aspirations of the Nepalese people in a single document through an open, democratic, and transparent process was not an easy task by any standard. The Constitution that we have today was the best possible outcome of compromise under the prevailing circumstances. We have fulfilled our historic responsibility. Yet, we believe that in the evolutionary process of the Constitution, appropriate adjustments can always be made as per the wish of the people. Ladies and gentlemen, often it appears to me that the outside world is not fully aware of the contents of the new Constitution and the process that was employed in its making. Judgment has at times not been objective. During the Constitution making process, all members of the Constituent Assembly were involved. It was not promulgated in a hurry and without following the due process, as certain quarters tend to believe. Not only the members who were actively involved in the process, but people at large were also consulted in various phases of its making. We spent years in deliberating on what kind of constitution Nepali people want. The entire international community was the constitution making process in Nepal with considerable interest. We kept them informed of what we were doing in institutionalizing peace and democracy. The first Constituent Assembly resolved most of the issues, and only a limited number of contentious issues were left before it was dissolved for its failure to deliver the Constitution within the mandated period of 4 years. Learning from the past experiences, we had to move carefully with a sense of responsibility, as the country wouldn't have afforded to witness the failure yet again of an elected house. Making the whole democratic process a fiasco. So, sincere attempts were made in the Second Constituent Assembly from the beginning to take all stakeholders on board. Difficult and contentious issues were resolved only after intense debates and hard compromise. Some groups left the process towards the end of the exercise, especially when we entered the decisive phase of compromise. It was unfortunate. We must frankly admit that perhaps no one is happy with all the provisions of the Constitution. Candidly speaking, perhaps everybody, whether they are in for or against, have some points or some issues where they are unhappy or unsatisfied. Yet, more than 92% of the Constituent Assembly members enthusiastically participated during the voting, and more than 85% of the members voted in favor of the Constitution. Ensuring its wider legitimacy, these members represented all segments of Nepali society, communities and regions. The Constitution guarantees human rights and fundamental freedoms to all citizens without any discrimination. It accommodates almost all rights and freedoms that are contained in the various international human rights instruments. Some of the features of our Constitution are unique and far more progressive. Ladies and gentlemen, we left that there were some misunderstandings about the provisions of citizenship in the new Constitution. The Constitution ensures that all the Nepali people have the right to citizenship. The citizenship can be obtained both in the name of mother and father. There is no discrimination aimed at any segment of Nepalese society. Nepal's citizenship regime is quite liberal and doesn't render anyone stateless. All citizens are treated equally in terms of opportunities and state services. For the past 70 years, we have been fighting for justice, equality, and democracy. The new Constitution is the culmination of our efforts to firmly establish these ideals in society and in policy and ensure in the most unequivocal terms possible the end of all forms of discrimination. Ensuring social justice has been one of the key objectives of the Constitution. It seeks to promote socio-economic justice to the backward and different ethnic communities of the country. State policies are aimed at uplifting the overall status of socially backward women, Dalits, Adivasi, Janajatis, Madhesis, Tharus, minorities, persons with disability, marginalized, Muslims, backward classes, gender and sexual minorities, youths, peasants, workers, oppressed or citizens from background regions, and economically poor khas area. The pillar of social justice is thus firmly embedded in our Constitution. Gender equality is another principal feature underpinning our Constitution. The Constitution provides that the President and Vice President should come from different community and gender. Similar provision applies in the election of Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. This key principle of inclusivity has already been upheld by electing the first female President of the country and the first female Speaker of the Legislature Parliament. These are groundbreaking achievements in the implementation of the new Constitution. The Constitution provides for Human Rights Commission, Women Commission, as well as Madhes Commission, Tharu Commission, Muslim Commission as constitutional bodies. These dedicated constitutional commissions reflect our profound commitment to protect and promote the rights of people of different ethnicities and communities. The Constitution has also provided for a federal commission to deal with the issues of the demarcation of the provinces. Early this year, our legislature parliament passed the first constitutional amendment bill to address dissatisfaction of some agitating parties. This is a credible evidence of the dynamic and progressive nature of our Constitution. These, in my view, are sterling achievements that Nepal has made after a period of prolonged transition and uncertainty. And we are happy that the international community has warmly welcomed the promulgation of the Constitution and expressed support for its implementation. I thank Prime Minister Modi ji for recognizing the promulgation of the new Constitution as an important achievement of Nepalese people. Ladies and gentlemen, this political transformation cannot be sustainable if it is not supported by socio-economic transformation. In the absence of economic development and general prosperity, the goal to create an egalitarian, inclusive, and rights-based society only becomes an unrealized dream. So, our topmost priority ahead is and should rightfully be to achieve economic development. Political stability creates a conducive environment for growth and development. The world is interconnected and interdependent today. So the pursuit of economic development calls for collaboration and cooperation in bilateral, sub-regional, regional and global contexts. Individual efforts alone will not be sufficient. Asia has now become the center of global economy. What pleases us is the phenomenal economic progress India has made. Nepal cannot afford anyone anymore to remain a poor backward of this thriving Asia. We must be prepared to seize the opportunities that are unfolding in our neighborhood and make our country a vibrant zone for growth and development. This is possible and achievable, but we are committed to work hard and start working now. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now move to the second aspect of my deliberation, Nepal-India relations. India is our closest neighbor and the most important partner for development and prosperity. We share many things in common, both geographic and cultural. We share history and civilization, and geography inextricably binds us. Relations are so extensive, deep, and multi-dimensional that formal documents and treaties alone cannot capture their essence. There are very few countries in the world today whose past as well as future are so closely intertwined with that of each other. So if I have to define our relation in one single term, I call it sovereign fraternity. We have an open border that has kept our people uniquely close. Two friends stand with you at difficult times. When the massive earthquakes hit in Nepal in April and May last year, support for rescue and relief from India was there within hours. India's pledge for reconstruction was generous. We are finalizing the modality of utilization of the $1 billion support package. Foundation of our relations is strong and unshakable as it is, should remain so forever. We must trust each other and respect each other's sensitivities in a spirit of solidarity and accommodation. Trust fosters understanding and helps build confidence. Confidence generates an environment that is conducive for cooperation, and this finally leads to shared prosperity. Respect for the principle of sovereign equality and mutuality of benefits is essential to promote healthy and friendly relationship between and among nations. Occasional differences may appear in any society. This is also true between neighbors. But we must address them in a way that doesn't undermine the foundation of our relations. Intermittent issues between two countries and governments should not lead us to actions that are unwarranted and impact people's daily lives adversely. Our destiny is so intimately linked that we are bound to be good friends forever. So, strengthening friendship and security, shared prosperity must be our common objective. The main mission of my coming to India was to clear misunderstanding and apprehensions that surfaced in the last few months following the promulgation of Nepal's constitution. In my meetings with the President, Vice President, Prime Minister Modi, and other senior Indian political leaders, I tried to clarify that we did in the past few months what our intentions were and how we seek to advance as a nation towards development and prosperity. Having exchanged views with them in a frank and friendly atmosphere, I am convinced that whatever misunderstanding was there doesn't persist anymore. This is my view, is the most important outcome of my visit. Ladies and gentlemen, Nepal is between two big neighbors and want to benefit from enormous progress. Both are making in economic growth, science and technology, IT and trade. We at times hear from certain quarters that Nepal uses this or that card vis-a-vis its relations with neighbors. Such perceptions have no basis. There is no question about aligning with one or the other. We cannot do it, and for us it is not a viable policy option either. As a neighbor, we have and will continue to have good relations with both based on their own merits, and one is not comparable to the other. What we see rather is that India and China are coming closer, be it in ever expanding bilateral trade or in multilateral negotiations on critical global issues like climate change. We see this as an opportunity to forge a productive partnership for development with both. This is where Nepal will benefit, and so will our two prospering neighbors. We believe that a peaceful, stable and prosperous Nepal is in the interest of our neighbors, region and beyond. It has been our principal policy, which we have been implementing sincerely, to respect the security, sensitivity of our neighbors. We remain firm in our commitment of not allowing any hostile activities on our soil directed against India. The open border is our common asset. We must make determined efforts to ensure that it is not misused by any unscrupulous elements to the detriment to our vital interest. We also need to maintain the security, sanctity of no man's land, so that the true spirit of open border remains alive in principal terms under all circumstances. Nepal and India are endowed with resources, both natural and human. What we need is a collective will to sustain enduring partnership to convert resources into wealth for our mutual benefit. Our vision must be informed by the fact that in collaboration and cooperation lie the opportunity to grow and prosper together and share benefit in larger interest of our peoples. Ladies and gentlemen, day before yesterday, I had a very fruitful meeting with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. We discussed about advancing Nepal-India relation to seize the momentum, build and focus on economic cooperation and development. Water resources present a vast scope for cooperation between our two countries. Legislative, policy and institutional framework has been created to facilitate cooperation between our two countries. Energy security underpins economic security. To further strengthen cooperation in energy sector, Modi ji and I jointly inaugurated the Dalkebar-Muzaffarpur transmission line through remote operation. This line allows our two countries to transmit electricity both ways. Now we are facing huge power shortage in Nepal. This new infrastructure enables us to import power from India. When we will be able to produce surplus power in Nepal, the same will be used to export power to India. More such infrastructure has been planned. Modi ji and I share the view that Nepal-India cooperation in hydropower is growing. Two mega deals with India, public and private companies, were done in 2014. Negotiations on some more ongoing Pancheshwar multiple project has been planned under G2G partnership. Early start of the project will be a new milestone. This will serve as model for other large-scale joint undertakings. We have signed power trade agreement. Development of Nepal's hydropower will benefit both of us. Our cultural connections are deep. Pashupatinath and Vishwanath, Janakpur and Ayodhya, Lumbini and Bodh Gaya, and many more icons of shared civilizations stand for our spiritual bonds. People in large number cross the border as pilgrims every year. Such relations are beyond the lines of treaties and agreements. These are internal shashwat of our fraternity. Prime Minister Modi ji's policy of neighborhood first has generated high optimism in the region. Nepal fully reciprocates the call and its commitment to contribute towards greater regional and sub-regional partnership in trade, transit, investment, infrastructure and connectivity. We have formed the Eminent Persons Group to suggest measures to further strengthen our bilateral relations consistent with the trends of our time as well as aspirations of our people. I am hopeful that EPG would soon start its work and fulfill its responsibility within the given time frame. We want our relations to be forward-looking and progressive. Finally, I thank you once again for this opportunity to share my thoughts with the learned people gathered here. You are the leaders of society and the intellectual world. You analyze situation and communicate to people. Therefore, I thought it important that I come to talk to you directly and convey to you our perspectives of Nepal-India bilateral relations, as well as share with you what Nepali people have been able to achieve in institutionalizing peace and democracy, thereby creating a solid foundation for development and prosperity. And finally, I would like to thank you very much for extending me best wishes on the occasion of my 65th birthday. Thank you very much. Yeah, if there are, okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister, for that very significant and illuminating lecture covering recent political developments in Nepal and India-Nepal relations. Distinguished guests, we have time for about 4 questions. We are running late, but the Prime Minister has been very generous with his time. So we have time for exactly 4 questions. Who would like to start? General Mehta? Yeah. Please introduce yourself and please ask a question.
Hello, yeah. My name is Ashok Mehta. I'm retired from the Army. And my question is regarding Your Excellency, your main mission to India, you said, was to clear misunderstandings of the past, recent past, and I must congratulate you that you state that the misunderstandings have been removed. Now, my question really is that misunderstandings have been removed at the level of governments, but misunderstandings between peoples. The India-Nepal relationship is between 2 sovereign people. What measures does your government, in cooperation with the government of India, intend to take in removing the anti-India sentiment that has been created in Nepal?
So would you like to take them together? Or?
It would be better, I think.
Together. We'll take the questions together. Yes, please, at the back. Please introduce yourself.
Dr. Sanjeev Duleja. Sir, my question is regarding LSP problem. Their citizenship and political participation. Still they have the grievance. Do you think you are going to address them from scratch, or it will be taken care in this constitution itself?
That is. इधर दीजिए, इनको दीजिए.
Hello, Dr. Pramod Jaiswal, IPCS. Prime Minister, you have formed a political mechanism. Do you think it will work because you have formed it unilaterally?
पीछे.
The political mechanism.
That's the last question.
Will it work?
Thank you, Chairman. So first, may I wish Prime Minister Oli a happy birthday again, Sir Dr. Ravneet Thakur. I had the pleasure of going to the while before. My question, sir, is to do with Nepal's bilateralism. Is India going to see any change in Nepal's policy vis-a-vis China and India? Thank you very much.
What was her point? What she asked?
No, she asked that in the bilateralism, how would you do between India and China?
Oh.
She's already. You can respond from here itself.
Yes, you can respond from here. Is Nepal's bilateralism between India and China? The third was the mechanism has been made unilaterally. Do you think will it work? And the second was about Madeshi's problem. Will you do it in this constitution or from the scratch? First one was anti-India feeling in people. How would you?
Okay, thank you very much for your very clear, generous queries. Mehta ji suggested that, as I mentioned, that the cloud of misunderstanding is cleared now. And Mehta ji said that the cloud between the government may be cleared, but between the people, among the people, what is the situation? Really speaking, there was no problem within the people, between the people. We are, in fact, talking about the relations between the two governments, mainly. Among the people, जैसे कि पीपल यहाँ बोलते हैं रोटी बेटी का संबंध वैसा ही बॉर्डर इलाकों में वहाँ पर कोई देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम एट ऑल इन द बॉर्डर एरियाज बिटवीन द पीपल दे आर गेटिंग मैरिड within 3 months. I talk about there is another question also about citizenship. Within 3 months 596 ladies who went to Nepal after wedding, they got citizenship within 3 months. And within 4 months, 1075 ladies got naturalized citizenship. The weddings, the marriage, the relations between the people of this and that side are always normal. In fact, there were to some extent misunderstanding. But there were just misunderstanding. Misunderstanding is the lacking of real understanding. Now the situation is clear. So far the question of citizenship is, all the Nepalese, as I mentioned in my speech also, all the citizens have right to get the citizenship card or ID card, like this citizenship card they can get. And there is one question, just one question. In the Constitution there is one provision that the question of citizenship will be decided according to the federal law. There is objection on that word, federal law. Citizenship, the provinces or the districts or the local governments cannot provide citizenship, and it is everywhere, in all over the world, in every country is controlled or controlled by the central government, or it is provided, citizenship is provided according to the central government, central law. If there is federalism, it is governed by the federal law. It's a very simple thing. And there is in fact nothing. And we cannot provide that right, even any country in the world. They cannot provide right to the provinces to provide citizenship whom they like. And the citizenship law cannot be different in this or that province. All the provinces have the one and same law, that is federal law or that is central law, to decide about the citizenship. And so far the question of unilaterally declaration of the political committee to decide about the boundaries of the provinces, it reflects that we want to resolve the problem. We want to listen the demands and grievances of the people, and we want to address those problems. Even now we are talking. Talks are going on. Dialogues are taking place, of course, continuously. Even at the crucial times, always we were talking. And we were trying our best to resolve the problems. For that we amended the Constitution for the first time after the promulgation. In a very short period of time after the promulgation, we amended the Constitution. It was not so easy to amend the Constitution when it is just promulgated, and when it started to be implemented, at the same time we amended the Constitution to address the voices, address the problems or demands and grievances of the people, nothing else. Similarly, we said that if there are any questions, we are ready to listen them and we are ready to address them. And Constitution, one thing, Constitution is a changing document. According to the needs of time and demands of the people, it can be changed and amended. The question of numbers and borders, etc., of the provinces also is a common question. Some 2 years before, a number of provinces in India was added. From Andhra Pradesh, Telangana was
Carved out.
yeah. And Telangana, a new province, state emerged. The number was changed and the border was changed. Even after this long time of the promulgation of Indian Constitution, the process of these boundaries and numbers, etc., is continued still. So we are ready, and this is not that we have to write or draft the Constitution or promulgate the Constitution or declare the Constitution for always faultless. There shouldn't be any mistake. Yeah, there is no mistake. For the present needs and present feelings and present demands, we can address. But if the demands or experiences say something different and the demands come in the future, the Constitution is amended. Similarly, the provinces are for the benefit of the people, for their service, how they can develop for the provinces, etc. So, this committee we formed, political committee, just we were waiting and discussing to form with consensus. We were trying to reach an agreement, but finally we failed to do that. So, under the leadership of the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, Mr. Kamal Thapa, only coordinator, we said, and there will be 11 members. 10 members are left there. So, there is no reason why dissatisfaction again. Because there is enough space of discussion. Just we have declared the number of the committee and the chairman or coordinator or leader of the committee will lead the committee, that's all. And this committee will be, this political committee will be fulfilled with the consultation and agreement with other sides also, because this is not just to keep in showcase, but this is for resolving the problem which are appeared. So we want to do that. And so far the question, relation between with India and with China is, we are at the mid of two countries. We have two neighbors. At the north, that is China, and at the south, that is India. We are very happy, and we would like to express our happiness that both our neighbors are developing very fastly. They are achieving developments, economic developments in different fields and very fastly. For that we are satisfied, we are happy, and we want to get benefit from that development. And as I said that we don't want to play God against this or that. We don't want to permit anybody to against our territory, against any of our neighbor. And particularly, so far the question of relationship between India and Nepal is, everybody knows that it is not a new one. It is not just a dialogue formed this relation, or in some process some this or that government formed the relation or established the relation between our two countries. That is not true. Historically, since thousands of years, and I have mentioned in my speech also, we have Janakpur and Ayodhya's connection, and there are so many connections. So we have to work together, we have to live together, we have to work together, and we have to live with friendship and work with friendship and get common prosperity. So there will be no problem. And Nepal wants to be a country of Buddha's birthplace, peaceful one. Nepal is very rich for its natural resources and want to use them with the support of our and cooperation of our neighbors. And particularly with India, we want to work together. And Nepal always was friendly to India, was friend of India, is friend of India, and will remain friend of India. That is true. I think, I think the queries are.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. We are, as I said earlier, greatly honored that you have agreed to deliver this very important Sapro House lecture. Thank you also, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, for your very important remarks. My thanks in particular also to the External Affairs Minister for agreeing to preside over this extremely important session. And of course, our thanks to all of you for coming to Sapro House this morning to listen to this very important lecture. Thank you all very much. I think we need to give a round of applause to the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, refreshments are served outside in the lawn, but please bear with us, allow us, the principals, to leave, and please leave the hall after a couple of minutes. Thank you all once again for coming.
दर्शकवृन्द भर्खरै मात्रै भारतीय विश्व मामला को भारतीय परिषदमा भर्खरै मात्र नेपालका प्रधानमन्त्री केपी शर्मा ओलीले आफ्नो सम्बोधन गर्नुभएको छ। भारतीय कूटनीतिज्ञ पत्रकारहरूले सोधेका प्रश्नहरूको जवाफ दिनुभएको छ। आफ्नो भ्रमणको चौथो दिन आइपुग्दा प्रधानमन्त्री केपी शर्मा ओलीले आफ्नो भ्रमणलाई असाध्यै सफल भएको दाबी गरिरहँदा उहाँले 3-4 विषयलाई महत्त्वपूर्ण रूपमा प्रस्तुत गर्नुभएको छ। एउटा, प्रधानमन्त्री केपी शर्मा ओलीले नेपालको संविधान कुनै पनि अर्थमा विभेदकारी छैन र नेपालको संविधानले सबैलाई समेटेको छ भन्ने विषयलाई स्पष्टसँग सबैका सामु प्रस्तुत गर्नुभएको छ। त्यसैगरी दोस्रो, नेपाल र भारत सम्बन्धका विषयमा फेरि एकपटक प्रधानमन्त्री केपी शर्मा ओलीले दुई देशका बीचको सम्बन्ध सुधारमा आफ्नो भ्रमणले महत्त्वपूर्ण भूमिका खेलेको जानकारी गराउनु भएको छ। त्यसैगरी प्रधानमन्त्री ओलीले नेपालका प्राकृतिक सम्पदाहरूको प्रयोगमा भारतलाई साझा रूपमा सहकार्य गर्नका लागि अनुरोध गर्नुभएको छ। प्रधानमन्त्री ओलीले आफ्नो लामो भाषण गरिसके पछाडि पत्रकार र कूटनीतिज्ञहरूलाई प्रश्न सोध्न मौका दिएको थियो। प्रश्न सोध्ने व्यक्तिहरूले खास गरी नेपालमा नागरिकतामा देखिएको विभेदकारी प्रावधान लगायतका विषयमा प्रश्न सोधेका थिए भने त्यसैगरी नेपाली जनता र भारतीय जनताका बीचमा खास गरी नाकाबन्दी पछाडि र संविधान जारी भइसके पछाडि देखिएको असहमति र उनीहरूको बीचको सम्बन्धमा आएको चिसोपनलाई कसरी सम्बोधन गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने प्रश्नमा उहाँले नाकाबन्दी र मधेस आन्दोलन भन्ने शब्द उच्चारण गर्नु भएन। प्रधानमन्त्री ओलीले भारत भ्रमणमा आइसके पछाडि यी दुईवटा विषयमा आफ्नो तर्फबाट कुनै पनि अभिव्यक्ति दिनुभएको छैन। खास गरी नेपालमा मधेसी दलहरूले गरेको आन्दोलन जसमा भारतको सहयोग रहेको थियो भनिन्छ। भारतको सद्भावका कारणले मधेसी दलहरूले आन्दोलनलाई लामो समयसम्म लम्बाए भन्ने यथार्थलाई प्रधानमन्त्री ओलीले आफ्नो भ्रमणका क्रममा कहीँ पनि राख्नु भएको छैन। यसैगरी प्रधानमन्त्री ओलीले मुलुकमा जारी झण्डै 4 महिनादेखिको नाकाबन्दी जो अहिले खुलिसकेको छ आंशिक रूपमा, तथापि सरकारले इन्धनको व्यवस्थापन गर्न सकिरहेको छैन, यो विषयलाई पनि उहाँले कहीँ पनि उठाउनु भएको छैन। यसरी प्रधानमन्त्री केपी शर्मा ओलीले आफ्नो भारत भ्रमणका क्रममा जुन प्रकारको यो भारतीय ICWA इन्डियन जुन यो ICWA अर्थात् भारतीय विश्व मामिला परिषदमा संवाद कार्यक्रम गरिएको थियो, यो 21औं आख्यान कार्यक्रम थियो। यो 21औं आख्यान कार्यक्रममा बोल्दै नेपालका प्रधानमन्त्री केपी शर्मा ओली अगाडि भारतीय विदेश मन्त्री सुषमा स्वराजले यो कार्यक्रमको अध्यक्षता गर्नुभएको थियो भने प्रधानमन्त्री ओली भन्दा अगाडि नेपालका उप प्रधानमन्त्री तथा परराष्ट्र मन्त्री कमल थापाले विषयहरू राख्नु भएको थियो। कमल थापाले आफ्ना अडान स्पष्ट शब्दमा विश्व समुदायको सामु पनि राख्नुभयो र उहाँले भन्नुभएको थियो नेपालको संविधानप्रति आफ्नो दलको असहमति छ। राष्ट्रिय प्रजातन्त्र पार्टी नेपाल यो संविधानमा असहमति हुँदाहुँदै पनि राप्रपा नेपालले संविधान कार्यान्वयनमा सहयोग गरिरहेको छ। उहाँले खुला शब्दमा आफू संघीयताको विपक्षमा रहेको विषय समेत राख्नु भएको थियो। तथापि प्रधानमन्त्री केपी शर्मा ओली जो नेपालभित्र हुँदा आफ्ना विषयहरू स्पष्ट रूपमा राख्न सक्ने नेताका रूपमा परिचित हुनुहुन्थ्यो। के त्यस्तो विषय छ? कूटनीतिक मर्यादाको पाटो एउटा होला, तर आफ्ना विषयहरू प्रधानमन्त्री ओलीले आजको विश्व मामिला परिषदको यो कार्यक्रममा पनि स्पष्टसँग राख्न सक्नु भएन। प्रधानमन्त्री ओलीले विषयहरू राखिरहँदाखेरिमा हिजोको पत्रकार सम्मेलनमा बोलेका विषय र आज उहाँले राखेका विषयमा कुनै फरक देखिँदैन थियो। प्रधानमन्त्रीले खाली आफ्नो भ्रमण नेपाल भारत सम्बन्ध सुधारमा केन्द्रित रहेको भनिरहँदा र विभिन्न व्यक्तिहरूले प्रश्न राख्नु अगाडि भारतीय विदेश मन्त्री सुषमा स्वराज जो प्रधानमन्त्री ओलीसँगै बस्नु भएको थियो, उहाँले प्रधानमन्त्री ओलीलाई स्पष्ट शब्दमा अङ्कमा जवाफ दिनका लागि आग्रह गर्नुभएको थियो। हामी दिल्ली खुल्यो दिल्ली अन्तर्गत चौथो दिनको आजको यो प्रसारण प्रधानमन्त्री केपी शर्मा ओलीको भ्रमणको चौथो दिनमा आज तपाईलाई भारतको राजधानी नयाँ दिल्लीमा जुन साप्रा हाउसमा विश्व मामिला परिषदको हलमा आख्यान कार्यक्रम भएको थियो, यो कार्यक्रम हलबाट तपाईलाई नेपालका प्रधानमन्त्री केपी शर्मा ओलीले जे विषयहरूलाई फेरि एकपटक प्रश्न पार्नु भएको छ ती विषयहरू प्रस्तुत गरिएका छौं। तथापि नेपालका प्रधानमन्त्रीले यसपटक आफ्नो भ्रमण असाध्यै उपलब्धिमूलक भएको भनिरहँदा उहाँले नेपाल के लिएर जाँदै हुनुहुन्छ भन्ने प्रश्न उब्जिएको छ। आज प्रधानमन्त्री ओलीले यो कार्यक्रम पछाडि राजनीतिक दलका नेताहरूलाई भेट्ने कार्यक्रम छ। शरद यादवलाई उहाँले भेट्नुहुनेछ, हिजो लालकृष्ण आडवाणीलाई भेट्नु भएको थियो। यस पछाडि बेलुकी 6 बजे प्रधानमन्त्री ओली ताज प्यालेस होटलमा आयोजना हुने बिजनेस मिटिङमा सहभागी हुनुहुनेछ। तर उहाँले आजको कार्यक्रममा पनि जुन अपेक्षा गरिएको थियो, जुन हिसाबबाट विषयहरू राख्नु होला भनिएको थियो, एकतर्फी रूपमा गठन गरिएको राजनीतिक संयन्त्रदेखि लिएर नेपाली र भारतीय जनताको बिग्रिएको सम्बन्धसम्म, नेपालका साझा मुद्दादेखि लिएर सुरक्षासम्मका विषयहरू उठ्दा प्रधानमन्त्री ओलीले नेपालको प्राकृतिक सम्पदा प्रयोग गर्न भारतलाई खुला रूपमा निमन्त्रणा समेत गर्नुभएको छ। नेपाल प्राकृतिक सम्पदाको धनी देश हो भनेर प्रस्तुत गरिरहँदा ओलीले यी सम्पदा प्रयोगका लागि आफ्नो छिमेकी मुलुक भारत आफू सहकार्य गर्न तयार रहेको बताउनु भएको छ। नागरिकताको प्रश्नमा उहाँले संघीय सरकारले बनाएको कानून अनुसार नागरिकता वितरण गरिनेछ र यो 3 महिनाको अवधिमा 578 जना भारतीय महिलाले नेपालमा विवाह मार्फत उनीहरूले नागरिकता पाएको विषय चाहिँ स्पष्ट रूपमा राख्नु भएको थियो। हामी खुल्यो दिल्ली अन्तर्गत नयाँ दिल्लीबाट तपाईलाई पलपल र हरपलको खबर प्रस्तुत गरिरहेका छौं। यो क्रम जारी रहनेछ, हामीसँग रहनुहोला।
प्रधानमन्त्री केपी ओलीको दक्षिण यात्रा, आशा आशंका र प्रतिफलको प्रतीक्षा, भ्रमणका हरेक कोणको सूक्ष्म समीक्षा, पल पलका खबरको प्रत्यक्ष रफ्तार। दिल्ली एक्सप्रेसको चौथो संस्करण खुल्यो दिल्ली। खुल्यो दिल्लीका मुख्य प्रायोजक
मेरो ल्याब केही चेन्ज गरौँ।
अद्भुत शक्ति शालिमार सिमेन्ट।
प्रायोजक